Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. I have a finished flip through of a new journal for you today. So this one I just have been creating and working on, and just didn't do any of the process on video because I just had my other videos going each day, and just ended up finishing it before I got to do any of the process on video. But it's a super fun one, and one that I've been wanting to do for a couple of years. I've had this cover, really pretty cover. It's a little booklet about tea. Okay, look how pretty. I thought it was so pretty when I found it at the thrift store. And so I decided to, first of all, well, let me show you the closure here. I added this pretty vintage button here as the kind of closure, and you just have this elastic. I have this long. This is kind of extra long, and I left it because you can actually untie the knot and make this little loop bigger if it were to expand so much that you would need more room here in the loop. So I left it long, and then I also added some pretty beads here. Really pretty for my glass beads. I think they're all glass. This little white one, yeah, I think that's glass too. But if you can see, there's a couple on this string here, a couple on this one, and then on this end of this one I have a little teacup to match, the cover. It's so cute, right? It's even got a little spoon on there on the plate, on the saucer. Okay, so to strengthen the cover, since it was cardstock, I added upholstery. So I added it here to the spine. So nice, strong spine. I used a 5 pamphlet stitch, and I used some yellow, kind of a strong thread that I had to match all the yellows and golds here in the cover. So here, and I did sew around. You'll see the inside is the same upholstery, and I sewed that all together, all of this upholstery together here with a black zigzag thread stitch. Here's the back. I wrapped that upholstery around the back. So pretty. It was just a sample that I had. And I have a few, of those kind of rectangle samples, and I pulled this one out because it just looks so beautiful with this cover. So this wraps around this closure, and it's got an eyelet here where it's attached, and it just wraps around and loops over the button. So you just kind of pull the elastic and unloop it to open the journal. So as you open up, you'll see the pretty upholstery here. You see my stitching here. That's the spine stitching. And then I opened it up with a pretty piece of, it's a really awesome piece of stationery. It's kind of like, almost like onion skin or something. It's, but it was just a, pretty, and you can see it through a little bit too, like onion skin. And it was just a pretty piece to open up this journal with. And then you go to, this was one of the first pages in the actual tea booklet. So I have a few pages in here from the tea booklet. This had a pretty cover, picture here with the teacup and the tea bag here, and the different contents page, named a couple of Russian tea, formal tea, informal tea type of thing. So I just thought that was a, interesting page. And look at how this side has a really interesting part, which is a pretty picture here of a teapot, or a couple of teapots, and a little tea thingamabob there. So what I did in here was clip a lot of things on the pages and put things in the pockets to help you get on your way of having fun with this journal instead of me decorating it. And I also have a quite, substantial goodie bag. I think I tried to put a lot in there. So here's a playing card, and it's just a pretty flowered one. Is this a playing card? Yeah. Oh, I've backed it. I see. I have backed it with, it must have been plain, and I backed it with some pretty paper there. So that, and that's paper clipped on there with a nice little, it's a square, kind of swirly little paper clip. It's yellow. You can see it on this side. And this is graph paper, of course. This is cardstock, scrapbook paper type paper. And here's a pocket over here. I have a few things in here, and I try to pick out things from my ephemera and from my crafty stash, things that I find at thrift stores. Everything in here is all original, authentic. I don't think anything's been, well, let me see. And there might be a couple of little pieces of ephemera that I've printed and made into ephemera, but like this is a collaged from children's book page and different scraps and punched out butterflies, a little divider card. And it was so pretty. I like these little kind of apricot colored ones. This is a page from a little album that was given to me in Happy Mail. And I just love this, whatever this paper is, I love it. So I thought that would be fun. And this is a thank you card that is just a little kind of a rectangle. That's it. That's how it is. And I just think these are cool and a great little journaling spot. Or you can make it into a side tuck or something. Glue it down here and here, and there you have a nice side tuck, or write on it, whatever you might want to do, or use it as a thank you card. So this is coffee dyed paper, and I have up here, this is the little binder clip that I had experimented on with that rust paint, and I said I wasn't going to do any more, but I did let this one dry, and it did come out kind of very rustic and grungy looking, so I used it in this journal. Here's a little envelope that I made out of double-sided scrapbook paper, and in here I have a little tag, a little tiny tag, and that was this was given to me in Happy Mail too, and then I added a little string there, and so it just, I kind of have it sticking out so it's easy to pull out with the strings like that. I thought that was kind of neat. So that's just clipped on. Like I said, I have tried to clip things on that you could have fun with. This is some of that Chinese paper that I showed to you in those little booklets that I had picked up that had the Chinese writing in it. And this was the one with a pretty picture on this side. Well, this one had a pretty picture on both sides. See, there's some Chinese writing there. This is, I think this was coffee dyed, and it ended up looking like this. It's a composition book paper. But when I coffee dyed it, it made the lines run, and it's so cool, the blue lines for this particular composition book. And I thought that came out so cool and pretty. So that is a page in here. It's a fold out because I didn't want to cut any off. And so you can always, in a fold out, when I leave it, or anyone leaves it like this, you can always make that into a tuck spot if you want by just gluing down here and here. This is a little, I put quite a few Post-its in here because they're great little journaling spots, and you can also move them around. You know, I just used the sticky that was on them, the stickiness, and put them down here, but you can, you know, take them off and write on them and move them to wherever, or use them wherever you want, collage or whatever. So that one is there, and this is a sticky note too, mental note, and it has a place to write there, and you can of course write on the back if you want and move it wherever you want. This is some pretty wallpaper where I have a pocket here, and then this is a tag that I had made on one of my videos, pretty tag. And this is when I was saying about some things I may have printed for ephemera, I think this was a printed piece here, a little postcard that I had made out of, this is coffee dyed file folder, and this is a printout that I had printed from one of my, you know, digital kits. So that is in there as a journal card. So this right here is this is, I think, oh, this must be from this book. Yeah, it has a little decoration here of like a coffee cup or a teacup, and then here's a map on this side, and it talks about tea and things like that. And I actually paper clipped on about 1, 2, 3, 4 postage stamps here, and I save all of my postage stamps from work, and people give me postage stamps too, and I actually found a big bag of them at an antique store in Florida, so I have lots of pretty postage stamps, and so I put some just paper clips on right there, so you could just, you know, as you go through, you'll have little goodies to use. You can pull out these little goodies to use in your journal. So this is a card, and when I was looking through my cards, I was trying to find a card that I could put in here, and this cat one has a little kitten looking into a teacup. I was like, how perfect is that? It's so cute. I mean, who doesn't love kittens, right? I mean, you gotta love kittens, even if you're not a cat person. And then this is another pretty plain card. I just thought that was really pretty, and went with the colors in here. This is some pretty stationery. I love this one. It has, it almost looks like watercolor, really, the flowers, and then it's got this scalloped edge, and it's blue on both sides, this very, very pale light blue. And it just looks vintage. It is vintage, and it kind of looks vintage, like it's aging. This is another page from this book. And here's one of my little spirograph decorations I had made. I did this on a video, or at least showed it to you on a video, and it has a little button in the middle, but that's made with my spirograph. I have my own spirograph, in case you didn't know, that I can play with. This is a page from this book. I thought this was really pretty with the different like tea leaves here, and it has the countries that they're from and things. I just thought that was a pretty chart. This is some ledger paper here, and then I did glue down this flap here. I just thought this green envelope was so pretty, and it's long and narrow, kind of different. And I put in here a bookmark that I had made. So that is in there, and those can always be used for tuck spots too, the same. You know, just glue them down on two sides to the side of a, or even a belly band to a page. So, and here's some more of that Chinese writing paper. That's kind of like when if you haven't heard me talk about it, this kind of feels almost like a rice paper or something. I know it's a really neat textured paper. Here's some coffee dyed music paper. And then here's some pretty double-sided scrapbook paper, which I used for the middle of this signature. This is one signature. And I think there's 66 pages in here altogether, counting front and back. Here's some, see that yellow string I was telling you about. So this is the back half now. So we can go a little faster unless we run into some goodies, like right here is a paper clipped on vintage florist card. Look at, see this, this is from this book. See how pretty those tea leaves are. And here's some tea bags. So cool. I love that. I love this book, pages and everything. Okay, so this is that pretty stationery we were looking at with the watercolor, almost look like watercolor flowers or roses. And then here's the coffee dyed paper, and on this side, these are also kind of like Post-its, you know, stickies. And so I stuck the bottom one down and gave you several here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of like a flip up that you could, you know, have several writing papers, and they're stuck down, but they can be moved. They can be lifted off. It's got the sticky on there, and you can, you know, move them around, separate them, whatever you want to do, but it gives you options. And this too, this is a sticky note. This can be moved around. It's this pretty little piece of paper, and it says notes right there. This is from this book. Isn't that beautiful? Chinese writing. And then here's some pretty teapots here. This is the wallpaper pocket on the back half. And in here I have a pretty tag that I had made. There's a wax seal on it, a bird, and it's just some pretty pieces that I added to that, kind of a collage. And this too is a collage. I'm going to call it a tag, I guess, because it has a little topper on it, or it's a journaling card with a topper. This topper right here is actually from a vintage apron that I cut up. I used every single little piece of that apron. It was so pretty. And then I sewed that on there as a topper, but that's a pretty little tag there. And then here I have clipped on, this is a fold out of that coffee dyed composition book paper, and then I clipped on a little tag there, pink paper clip from this book, pretty tea leaves and things. This is another Post-it. Feels like there's 2 here, so those can be moved around. This is the cardstock wallpaper, cardstock scrapbook paper pocket here, and just these are some recipe cards. I just thought it'd be fun to put them in here as this is some coffee or marker or something, or ink I got on there, but no biggie, I don't think. But yeah, that can be covered up. I mean, it's somebody's got to use it. I can keep it if you don't want it. But yeah, it does have roosters, and they say a recipe on there. But I thought those would be good, fun writing spots, and they kind of match here. The scrapbook paper too. And then this is just a pretty lady. I thought she was maybe getting dressed to go to a tea, and she had her pretty dress on there. And so it's a journaling card. This is not printed. This is from a book. I had cut this out of a book, like a Reader's Digest or something, that had some pictures in it, and glued her down there and made her into a journaling card. So that is original. Here's, see how pretty that scrapbook paper is. And then here's some more Post-its. So these can be moved around, but there's 2 here. right there. And then here's an envelope I put on the back. I just went ahead and I glued this down because I didn't want to glue the flap down. And I just really kind of wanted to glue it down here. And then what you have here, this is the envelope that goes with that pretty watercolor, what I'm calling a watercolor stationery. And it has a beautiful lining here. See that? So I wanted that to show. So that's why I glued that front part down to keep this open so you can see the pretty flowers. And then I put a couple, there's a journaling card in here. And see, you can write on the back, it's sewn around. And then this is a little match game card. It was a flower match game that I showed you one time in my Thrifty Thursday I had picked up. This is the first time I used one. And I think these are fun. You can add this to a journaling card or make it into a tuck spot or, you know, any number of things. You could put a little hole in it and make it hang it from something, a page or whatever. And so this is from this book too. This little, it says Informal Tea, and it's got Alice in Wonderland here. The Alice in Wonderland tea. There's the Mad Hatter, there's Alice, there's the rabbit. So I thought that was really cool. And that was like maybe almost my favorite probably page in that tea book. So I had to put that in there, right? And then a guide to fortune telling in a teacup. Anyway, that was a pretty picture there. And that's the back of Alice. That's the back of the Alice page. And then this is that pretty stationery, and you're at the back. So let's look at the goodie bag. So I was looking through my bags, and I wanted a nice big bag because I needed to fit in here. I'm giving you all with this journal. Well, let me take everything out. So I got this size bag so I could fit everything in here. And when I pulled this out, I didn't realize it, it took me a minute to remember that I actually made this bag from some brown paper that I had, and I was like showing, I think I even did it on video possibly and showed you that, how to make your own paper bag. So there it is. So this can be put into a journal. You know, you would just sew it in, you could cut off the side and make pockets, or you can decorate this and you can make a journal out of this to make a paper bag journal. So it's kind of not really thin or anything, paper bag, so you can make a journal out of a paper bag. So what I wanted a bigger bag was to put in the rest of the pages from this little tea book. So I've got all the pages in here that you can have fun with from this little tea book. There's a lot here, and a lot of pretty pictures and information about tea. I thought I saw another Alice page there for a second. Let's see, this is, let me turn it around the way it's supposed to go. And the pages are numbered. If you look, there's a butterfly. There's all kind of beautiful. It was hard for me not to put all of these back in there because even though they're black and white, I just thought it was so pretty because they all have to do with tea. Look at that, little tea canisters. And then they have some of the, you know, I guess that's Chinese writing. No, well, it says Japanese tea. Maybe that's Japanese writing. See, here's just all kinds of pretty pictures. Did I see Alice? I'm just like wanting to see another Alice picture, I think. Probably just imagined it, but you know, all kinds of little teapots in here and things. You could cut these up and make journaling cards or whatever you want to do. So fun. And then this one. Yep, so all those pages, that's all the pages from this book that are going with this journal. Then I always kind of turn it over and go from the bottom. Let's see, I went through not all my note papers, but a lot of my note papers so that you could have lots of journaling spots in here. So there's pretty note papers there. See the little, what is that? That's like a little, that's like a daylily. That's a lily. We have those in North Carolina. So yeah, those grow well here. So, but I don't have any of them. I have daylilies. Anyway, this says Mom Note, a little note paper there. I just went through all my fun note papers. I have them in a certain place. This says Someday. This says Do It Later. Just a little fun note paper. This came from a teacher's house at estate sale. She didn't pass away, but she was moved and left a lot of her papers behind. So she had an estate company come in and sell off the things she didn't take with her when she moved. These papers right here had the little I'm going to call it a teacup. It kind of could be a coffee cup too. But anyway, since this is a tea journal, I'm going to call these little tea notes. Whoops. And this was from the teacher's house too. It has her name on it. So you can cover that up if you want with a sticker or something and decorate those and write on those. And it says memo up there. This is just a little journal card I made out of, I think this was some kind of packaging. I don't remember what it came from it right now because I've had it for a good while. You know, so this is a paint sample chip. This is a vintage postage label, you know, the from and the to and the red, white, and blue. That's postage related. This is some red and white labels. This is a little envelope, and and here this is where I put the buttons and butterflies that I like to put in. There's more. See, there's more in there. They're not all coming out, I don't think. But I also have some little tags in this one. Some of these little tiny tags. Can you see them right here? There's 3 of them, and they have little strings on them, so you can take those out and have some fun with those. Add them to a page, or add them to a paper clip, or a bulb pin, or you know, hang them from a tag or something. But that's a little envelope that I had made from, that's double-sided scrapbook paper. Here's some more labels to be able to, you know, write dates and things on and add them to pages and tags. This is a tag that you can decorate. This is just a little journaling card that you can decorate. This is a little chart that I thought could be fun. It's just a little vintage chart with numbers. It had another piece probably, but this is what I have left of it. This is a 3x5 blue Rolodex card. This is just a little piece of ephemera that you can have fun with. It says free token, like a little ticket. See, front and back is decorated. This is some paper from a little notebook, little vintage notebook. It has holes here, and these are attached, so you can keep them together. You can take them apart if you want, but I didn't. I left them together. Whatever parts of them were together, I left them together. And this is a little Coca-Cola note. I found a little notepad of these at an antique store. This is a little ruler that you could have fun with. I actually glued one into my sewing journal, metal one that I use as a tuck spot. So you can use your imagination with rulers, and that's a nice flat one. So it could be glued down on a page and made into a tuck spot. These are 2 postcards that I just received, or this one I think did I just receive this? I'm not sure. Anyway, these are 2 very vintage postcards. Let's see, it's got a stamp there. I'm trying to see if I can tell what it says. U.S. postage. I don't see. I think it might say 19. No, that says Ohio. I cannot. Well, yeah, I think it says 1910. I was going to say 1910. And then I was like, no, yep, I do. I think it says 1910 there. So you've got a used postcard to have fun with. And that's probably some artwork. I don't know the name of it, though. And this is another piece of artwork. Rembrandt, it says right there. And this is also a postcard. This one was not used. And then we have a couple of flashcards. Oh, here's the 2 little ones. Aren't those cute? Here is the scraps from the... every piece of that upholstery has been used. That one sample I had, it was a rectangle, you know, and I used a good sized piece on the inside. I used a piece on the outside here, and this is all that was left, so I put it in here. You can make a belly band out of this if you wanted to, and you can make a little corner tuck out of this. So this is the part with the, you know how it has a little paper on the back sometimes. This is a piece with the paper on the back, so it's nice and sturdy. And that is actually what I used on the spine here. So this is actually not just fabric. It's actually 2 layers. It was the fabric upholstery, which is thicker than normal fabric, and this part that was on the back of the upholstery. So this is actually a very strong spine by the time you got those 2 layers, the book and the inside upholstery. And that's what I like to do in my kind of like, you know, books that are made out of, journals that are made out of cardstock. I like to put something on the spine you know, to make it all very strong and lasting. This is just a piece of fabric I've added. I had it here on my table and it matches the journal, so I said let me put that in there. This is scraps from the cardstock that I used. That's all I had left. This is a scrap from the wallpaper that I had, well, it's not all I had left, I don't think. I think I have more of this one. But this is a piece I cut off to make those pockets, so I put it in here. And then this is a couple of little, you know, coin rollers. And I think those have been around for a while. I think those are vintage. So that is the goodie pack that you can, you know, just get started with having fun when whoever gets this journal. It will be in my shop when you see this video. So I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making this one, and I have plans to start on my next journal right away. So you'll be seeing that. And I also need to work on my Sola wood flowers. So I'll be back with that hopefully on Friday. Because I need to do one this week for them. They were nice enough to let me demonstrate their flowers. Now I need to do my part and demonstrate them. so yeah, I'm gonna have some fun and show you. I have so many ideas, it's hard to narrow it down and get it into a 30-minute video, but I'm gonna see what I can do. And so I'll be back. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting, and happy crafting. I'll see you next time.